Laps of high-speed skill and strategy as Jennerstown's own NASCAR Winston Racing Series stars challenge top competitors from throughout the U.S. There'll also be a complete program for the AC Delco Pro stocks, Steel Street stocks, and Integra Bank Pure stocks. Gates open at 3, late model time trials at 5:30, and racing at 6 p.m. It's the Grand Olds Gang 200 this Saturday at Jennerstown Speedway. Rain date Sunday.
New Stanton Auto Body. For over 25 years, the professional reconditioner for major auto manufacturers now offers its expert service to you. From major body repair to minor or complete detail work, our highly skilled and experienced staff will have your car or truck looking and driving like new. New Stanton Auto Body uses only original manufacturer's parts and supplies. Always quality parts, complete attention to detail, all at affordable prices. New Stanton Auto Body, Waltz Mill Road, New Stanton.
Back with the commercial credit, 35-lap main for the John Auto Parts Pure Leader late models. There's a look at the top 3 rows as we post them going down the back straightaway, and this points battle could be interesting, Steve.
Yeah, we're looking at Tim Ice and Stevie Pellis, the two guys only a couple of points apart back in the field, while we've got a couple of guys looking for their career first wins on the front row, and that's Mark Catone and Brad Cole, and it's up to Catone to bring the field up to speed. He does just that, but it's Brad Cole holding his own side by side. There we go, about 5 rows deep down into the turns.
Well, they continue side by side in this pregnant mechanical Caterpillar, and then finally the Ford of Greensburg Integra Bank 2 Thunderbird of Mark Catone, the McKeesport, Pennsylvania rookie, takes the point position. Oh, momentarily nose to tail with Brad King Cole, and Cole's black automobile fades a bit. We're still side by side, picking out 2, sometimes 3 different grooves out there.
And it's been Brad Cole who's been running quite well the last couple of weeks in that rented car off of Rick Jock, but it's Catone who continues to hold the point position. Here comes Rick Miller. He takes the low line on Brad Cole, but again, Brad Cole holding his own at this point, and he manages to hold on to that second place position.
The rest of the field stringing out, but we're still relatively tight in the early laps of this commercial credit 35-lap main for the John Auto Parts Pure Leader late models. Now, we're going to move on here. This is a battle for second on lap 12 as the field's coming by. We'll pan into turns 1 and 2, and you'll see the purple Power Flow, number 19 of Rick Miller, dive to the low side of the 68 automobile, Brad King Cole, and he'll assume the second place position.
And while that's going on, Glenn Gall gets his car a bit loose coming out of the turns, and that allows Charlie Cragen and Tim Ice to advance past him as the cars work their way down the front straight. Now, right here, we're going to move ahead in the event. It's lap 29, late in the race. Catone still with the lead, Miller still in second, but we're going to zoom in. Battle for third, charging Charlie Cragen past Bobby Henry. He's now in third place, and he's going to set his sights toward the front.
Well, the incredible thing here, Steve, is that Cragen has been going high and low, picking all different grooves to get by these automobiles. Now, Rick Miller, he challenged the number 2 machine of Catone here quite often earlier in the midpoint of the race. But for Mark Catone, you know, wasn't it opening day he led the first 17 laps and then the car went away from him completely? Now he's down to the last 4 or 5 laps, and I even spied a crew member down in the pits who's pacing back and forth, not even watching the race. He's that nervous. This team is very excited about this young rookie out there who has continued to be pressured by the Powerflow 19 of Miller, and now charging Charlie Cragen is stalking as well.
Even beyond that, Catone has a brand new car that they have down in the pits, but it's the second car, the older car that they're running right now, and they're doing so well with, as here comes charging Charlie Cragen, making the pressure on Rick Miller as the cars work their way through turns 1 and 2. Oh, here comes Charlie Cragen. He's in second place. Let's go right to the live call.
Catone will have the challenge of his young career in these last few laps. Charging Charlie Cragen begins to set up the play the spoiler. 2 laps to go into turns 1 and 2. Mark Catone begins to see the rear view mirror filling up with the familiar red car. Charging Charlie being out-tracked down the back straight. They go into 3 and 4. Oh my goodness, this is it. The white flag coming up. 1 lap to go. Mark Catone tries for a career first. They dive into turns 1 and 2. Cragen sets up high. Here's the battle down the back straight. Cragen can't do it. Catone holds him off. They go into 3 and 4. Ladies and gentlemen, Cragen tries it again. Mark Catone holding on. Here's the drag race down to the chicken. Pinch me, am I dreaming? It's Catone.
Oh, Steve, no more pinching, no more dreaming. It's reality for Mark Catone of McKeesport, Pennsylvania, and his Ford of Greensburg team in this commercial credit 35 circuit main. There's the top 5.
And a valiant effort by charging Charlie Cragen, second place finish, running his Motordrome car tonight in a bit of an experiment, but it is Catone in victory lane for the first time. Probably not the last either. We'll be back with more racing right after this.
Do you want a career that's in demand? Consider training as an automotive technician. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, demand is rising for skilled automotive technicians. National education centers can train you to become part of this growing field. You'll learn how to diagnose and repair today's complex mechanical and electronic automotive systems. Everything you need to get started as an automotive technician. This is a great career. Call NEC's Vail Technical Institute campus today. Call 1-800-722-7337. 1-800-722-7337. Call now.
Start your weekend on the right track. Motordrome Speedway. There's racing every Friday night at Motordrome, just off exit 23 of Interstate 70, Smithton. Racing starts at 8 p.m., but come early for the hot laps. Catch NASCAR Winston Racing Series action with drivers threading the needle at breathtaking speeds with 4 exciting divisions. It's a great way to spend Friday night with the family. So start your weekend on the right track this Friday with Motordrome Speedway, Smithton.
New Stanton Auto Body. For over 25 years, the professional reconditioner for major auto manufacturers now offers its expert service to you. From major body repair to minor or complete detail work, our highly skilled and experienced staff will have your car or truck looking and driving like new. New Stanton Auto Body uses only original manufacturer's parts and supplies. Always quality parts, complete attention to detail, all at affordable prices. New Stanton Auto Body, Waltz Mill Road, New Stanton.
Back with the AC Delco Pro Stocks and their commercial credit 25 circuit go-around. And there's the field as they line up, and we post the top 3 rows.
Front row, Kerry Tadero looking for his second career victory in the Pro Stocks tonight. Don White looking for a career first. Well, the former feature winners, most of them anyway, stuck in the back of the field. It'll be up to those 2 front row drivers to bring the field up to speed. And as is the case with the late models, here we go, side by side, 2 abreast down the front straight, and unless something changes, we're going to take it that way for a while, right into the turns, 2 wide.
And as they work through there, watch the middle of the field. The yellow car, Ron Delano Jr. there in the 62, gets together with Wisner. It's a slide for life and then into the inside retaining wall. Spark surfing, airborne, everybody okay. We'll take another quick look at this, Steve.
Right there, Wisner loses the handling on the car, comes down into Delano, both of them onto the inside retaining wall, which happens to be a jersey barrier, which lessens the impact, but it also, you can see that little lip on it, lifts both of those cars up into the air, makes it a more dramatic effect. Following that incident, we're going to have a total restart. Again, side by side, it's Tadero and Wyatt on the front straight as everybody heads into the turns, and we're going to try it again, Mike, 2 by 2.
Well, United Jewelers, 15 Oldsmobile. Tadero on that low side continues to work there, but look at the black and gold Midway Parts and Service 91 of Chucky Kessler, the white Pennsylvania driver, sneaking in a 3rd place position down to the low side of Wyatt, and he's trying to make that move up through the field. And Jeff Dunbar in the powder blue and white 07 also becoming part of the picture, as well as that white 26 machine of Rapid Robert Arsenberger.
All 3 of those cars that you mentioned, Mike, Kessler, Dunmeyer, and Arsenberger, know the way to victory lane. Talked to Don Wyatt before the race. He's having a bit of a performance problem with that motor. That might be one of the reasons why he's having problems keeping things up to speed with the other competitors.
I find it interesting, Steve, that both Don Wyatt in the 26 Arsenberger and this black car, Chuck Kessler, all 3 of those drivers are former John Auto Parts Pure Leader late model division drivers who chose for financial circumstances to move down to this division for competition, and they're running strong. And speaking of strong, here comes Chucky Kessler. He goes to the low side for the lead over Kerry Tadero. The sophomore pilot is able to make the move, and also sneaking through that window playing the cat burglar is the 07 of Jeff Dunbar as they work their way down the back straight.
And we move on to this feature event for the Pro Stocks. It is lap 10, battle for the lead. Kessler and Dunmeyer. Let's go to the call.
Wheel to wheel, fender to fender. Kessler not wanting to give an inch. Dunbar still right there. Oh, the slightest bubble. Oh, my goodness, you couldn't put the nucleus of a hydrogen atom between those cars out of turn 4. Kessler still not giving up. Oh, we're not going to do this for a million laps, are we?
We always refer to the fact that you can run so often side by side at the Laurel Highlands Oval, Steve, and we're doing it again in the AC Delco Pro Stocks. Look at the different grooves these drivers can pick.
And sitting behind them, watching them run as close as they are, is Kerry Tadero in 3rd place, and he's saying, go ahead, guys, bump fenders, take each other out, and I'll win my 2nd feature this year.
Hey, don't joke about that, Steve. A lot of drivers do sit back and think that maybe they could end up getting a little bit of a birthday present, so to speak, when some top cars end up literally taking themselves out of an event. I wouldn't be surprised if he sits back there with a bird's eye view and says, well, we'll just let things go as they may, as the Midway Parts and Service 91 of Chucky Kessler begins to stretch it out down the back straight. Now we're going to move ahead. It's still this lead battle, and it is on lap 21.
And you know, Mike, as we noted before, both of these drivers have found their way to victory lane before, and it's this kind of a race as we watch Dunbar pull up on the low side of Kessler right along his door panel, and again we're running very, very close down the back straight. This is the kind of race that you love to win, and it is so painful if you can't make the win and you have to settle for second place. And here we look at Dunbar. He assumes the point position, but only briefly. Kessler comes right back up on him on the outside, and it's just unbelievable. These guys going to maybe do this right up to the green, or the checkered, we should say.
Well, they do it for so long that you have to feel bad for someone to actually lose the event. Dunbar is still trying to establish the low side on Kessler, and you can see Kessler begins to fade back just a little bit, and then finally Dunbar establishes the groove to the point position all by himself as he works into turns 1 and 2. Now, we want you to pay attention right here because we're going to move on in the event right here. This is the last lap. Jeff Dunbar, look how he's pulled out to a 3.5 car length advantage over Kessler. A valiant attempt by Kessler to try to close it right at the drop of the checker, but it's Jeff Dunbar with the win.
Dunbar obviously quite happy to be back in victory lane in this commercial credit presentation of the 25-lap main for the AC Delco Pro Stocks. And what we'll do now is take a look at our top 5 finishers. Chuck Kessler had to settle for second place. Good finishes for Tadero, Kossel, and Wyand as well. You know, Mike, we talked about there being a heat wave going on right now. This was a hot race.
Yeah, but heat can actually be disastrous for a race car driver. Let's take a look at that in this race break.
This race break is brought to you by Pizza Hut. Sometimes you've got to stop and smell the pizza.
Well, Steve and I joked at the beginning of the show about heat, but it is a serious problem in the concentration of a driver on the pavement. And in this evening's program, early in the evening, we measured the pavement with this barometer, and the pavement was 110 degrees. I went over to the Martinelli Racing 93 of Bob Cibula and measured the tire earlier. That was 112 degrees. In fact, certain parts of Cibula's car are anywhere from 100 to 105 degrees. I put this barometer on the seat of Robbie Marhefka's car down in the pits. The seat in his race car was 107 degrees. Last week, Bobby Henry measured the inside of his car with a thermometer. It was 138 degrees in the interior sheet metal. Incredible. And, you know, it's Robbie Marhefka, come on over here. Robbie's one of our rookie drivers in the John Auto Parts Pure Later Late Model Division. I want you to do me a favor. Why don't you take this barometer and measure your suit there? You've got a lot. You've got a triple layer suit, and the lining inside, that's got to be hot. What do you got there?
Well, put it this way, Mike. If I had the flu, I'd be in the hospital right now.
How do you concentrate racing with all this heat like this?
Well, some of these guys run fans and, you know, have some cool tubes and everything. I just got into this stuff. I'm a rookie, and I've got so much to learn out on the track. I don't have any time to worry about the heat. I haven't even given it a whole lot of thought yet.
So you just try to mentally blank it out of your mind.
That's about all there is to it, yeah.
A couple weeks ago, we looked at Mark Catone. He uses a cool helmet to circulate air. Squirrel fans, as Robbie was mentioning, in the case of Bob Cibula's automobile, you'll see a squirrel fan there, as well as something cool and refreshing to drink. It's a problem, and drivers try many different ways to try to cure that heat problem on the pavement.
This race break has been brought to you by Pizza Hut. Sometimes you've got to stop and smell the pizza.
Recently, an object was sighted.
It was big. It was just big.
Too big to measure with the human eye.
They say it could show up anywhere.
Whoa! Did you see that? Pizza Hut!
Bigfoot from Pizza Hut.
Out of sight, big.
21 slices.
I can handle it.
On a totally different crust.
Whoa!
For a ridiculously low $10.99. It's a legendary value. Bigfoot from Pizza Hut. The biggest pizza you can get delivered.
Start your weekend on the right track. Motordrome Speedway. There's racing every Friday night at Motordrome, just off exit 23 of Interstate 70, Smithton. Racing starts at 8 p.m., but come early for the hot laps. Catch NASCAR Winston Racing Series action with drivers threading the needle at breathtaking speeds with 4 exciting divisions. It's a great way to spend Friday night with the family. So start your weekend on the right track this Friday with Motordrome Speedway, Smithton.
Do you want a career that's in demand? Consider training as an automotive technician. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, demand is rising for skilled automotive technicians. National education centers can train you to become part of this growing field. You'll learn how to diagnose and repair today's complex mechanical and electronic automotive systems. Everything you need to get started as an automotive technician. This is a great career. Call NEC's Vail Technical Institute campus today. Call 1-800-722-7337. 1-800-722-7337. Call now.
Back with our Thunder and Lightning division, the Steel Street Stocks in a commercial credit. 20 Circuit Main, how appropriate as we post the first 3 rows, Steve. Thunder and Lightning division, we had a 2.5-hour rain delay in this program that we didn't mention earlier in the show, and you can see some of the water. It's still on the inside of the track. Thunder and Lightning division, we had a lot of thunder in the sky. Now it's time for thunder on the Speedway as Trevero brings him up to speed with Rick Milab on the outside.
And it is Trevero who managed to take the advantage as the field works their way down into the first set of turns. And Mike, nice race break on the heat. We talked about the weather, but we're going to have to teach you the difference between a barometer and a thermometer, but we'll do that later as we watch the field work their way down the back
Mr.
straight.
Techno. Quick, Steve, what's the difference between a high and low pressure system? No, we'll watch the races here. It continues to be Trevero on the point, and Milab's in second. Look at Dave Wilton. Oh, that's a stake and see us. Ziegler Chevrolet machine on the outside. That's a Chevelle. And down below him, that black and white 97, that's Bakersville, Pennsylvania's Tony Hirsch.
A lot of heat behind our leader, Trevero. Heat, lots of heat. We're gonna stay with that topic as we watch Dave Wilton grooming the high line in this racetrack, trying to work his way up into the second place position.
Oh, look at Audie up there, Steve.
A lot of the cars running very, very close together in all the divisions tonight. And because you had mentioned that we're dealing with basically a green track because of the thunderstorm, it might be a bit slipperier out there.
Doesn't look green to me.
Well, you notice it's not quite as black. That's because we've washed a lot of the tire rubber off in previous races.
A little bit of racing slang.
They're going to have to watch the traction out there. So far, all the fields handling themselves quite well. Carl Trevero continuing to hold out at that point position. They're strung out behind him, and as we move ahead in this event, it's going to be lap 8, and it is a lead battle, and it is still Carl Trevero on the point, but here comes Dave Wilt on the low line, pulls up beside Trevero, but Trevero says, no, tonight's going to be my night.
I find it interesting that the number 3 automobile that goes off the banking is a former Jeff Demo ride. There's a quick look at Sean the Bullet Beam in the 15. He's moved all the way up to 3rd place position. And Steve, in fact, the cars are skating around on that track that has less tire rubber because of the rain washing it out.
And speaking of washing out, Trevero gets the car a little high on the track there, washing out a bit on his own, and that is just enough to allow Dave Wilt to nose him by the start-finish line in the lead position. But Trevero is not about to give up that easily. He holds his own line on the outside, again, high into the turns. Dave Wilt gets just a little bit more of an advantage, and he assumes a good, firm lead on that point position. As the cars exit turn 4, what we're going to be doing is moving ahead in the event, late in the race. Just a few laps to go. It is Dave Wilt in the point position. Carl Trevero has faded back into the field, and it is now Sean Le Bullet Beam who's applying the pressure to Wilt's car. Just behind him, the number 30 of Jack Satoski. The 3 cars all been in victory lane earlier this season. Let's go to the call.
Sean Le Bullet Beam knows he's running out of time. He takes the Barrett Trekking 15 to the outside this time. And when he does, he jeopardizes the position on the low line. Satoski cannot close it, though. Beam high flying out of turn 2. Oh, it's a drag race for the lead. Wilt backs off on the low side. Beam commits to the outside. Here comes Satoski, the Thunder and Lightning division, rolling out of turn 4. And the lightning down the front straightaway is courtesy of Wilt and Beam. Into turns 1 and 2, 3 laps remaining. Wilt continues to hang it out on the low side. Beam continues that daring move on the outside. Here's the drag race down the back straightaway. 2.5 laps remaining. Into turns 3 and 4. Satoski ready to take advantage of the slightest miscue. And Wilt has problems. And here comes Beam with 2 laps remaining. And the Bullet goes into the point position.
Not a bad performance for a guy who's a rookie in the Steel Street Stock division. We talked about it earlier in the year, Steve. His dad said if he could win somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 features in Western Pennsylvania, that maybe he'd be able to move up to the AC Delco Pro stocks in the following year. And I think he's close to that now. He won the previous night at Motordrome as we get the white flag and 1 more lap to go. And Dave Wilt gets into the back end of the 15 of Beam, but it's not intimidating to this driver from Somerset, Pennsylvania. Wilt continues the dirt track his car, and Jack Satoski back there watching for everyone, any possible minor miscue, but we're not going to get it. Here it is, a quarter of a lap remaining out of turn 4, looking for the checker. Everything Wilt tries to get on the throttle. He can't do it. Beam with hand in the air says, I've won again.
Beam with the win, Wilt with the second place finish, and Satoski third, followed by Trevero and Heminger. We mentioned Beam, a rookie, to the street stocks as we go back to Victory Lane for the banner presentation of this presentation of the Steel Street Stocks. He's run the pure stocks before, so he's a veteran in that division, but the rookie in the street stocks. Speaking, Mike, of the pure stocks,
the Integra Bank Pure Stocks will go out for their commercial credit 15 Circuit Main. And as they work down the back straight, 20 cars strong, we post up the top 3 rows. And look who is on the front row. The Prez, Conrad Presnell, and
Mitzi Chavez looking for her career first win in this division. Actually, on the asphalt in general, she's come close before. Won a heat race here at Jennerstown earlier in the year. She'd love to be able to put that feature win to her credit as well.
And the field works up to the green flag status. And oh, we're picking grooves out there like you've got toothpicks through the gums of your teeth. They're all over the place.
Where's Dr. John the dentist when you need him? Anyways, it's a partway job as they work their way down the back straight, and it is still Mitzi Chavez on the point position. You know, in this division, Mike, a lot of times playing catch-up to the front runner can be very difficult, and Mitzi knows that right now. As we look at Conrad Presnell, he's ahead of a flock of cars, all trying to get up in his back bumper to work their way into second place. Matter of fact, on the outside, here comes the number 19 of Scott Kokenauer.
In fact, the Terminator brothers are trying to move up through the field. Down low, Dave Burnell making a move. Way up high, Rick Ackerman having problems in the red 91. Oh, some skirting back there through the middle of the field.
And while many of the other cars are having some handling problems, not Mitzi Chavez. She's got it handling very well. And for that matter, so does Scott Kokenauer in second place. He's trying to make up some ground just behind Mitzi. But look at this 3-wide battle for third place. But we're going to move ahead in the event. What we did was we had a minor incident, and this is a restart of the entire field on lap 4, and it is still Mitzi Chavez holding the point position. And look at this. The Kokenauer brothers, both Chris and Scott, hot on her bumper. They're trying the low line and the high line. Which one's going to get around her? I don't know. Mitzi says none of you.
Well, she's doing an outstanding job working different parts of this racetrack, down low in the back straight. Sometimes people trying to work the outside, but she really has a sense of where to position this automobile. The young Somerset, Pennsylvania pilot, a whole family that races out here, and Mitzi continues leading, and she's trying, to the best of my knowledge, make Western Pennsylvania history in asphalt racing. I don't think there's ever been a female pilot to take a checker in a main event in Western Pennsylvania sanctioned asphalt racing. We've seen it done on the dirt locally, but never on the pavement, and here she continues as we work out of turn 4.
We're moving ahead in the race. Just a few laps to go, and look who's still on the point position. It's still Mitzi Chavez, but it is Chris Kokenauer, the Terminator, hot on her bumper. Let's take it right into the call.
Chavez continues holding on to the lead. Campbell up to the back bumper of Kokenauer. Kokenauer begins to strike. He's right there, glued. He looks to the low side. Here's the battle for the point. Chavez and the Terminator. Mitzi up high. Chris down low. And the Terminator gets through with 2 laps to go.
Oh, and if every female individual on the grandstands had a pea shooter, they'd be aiming it at Chris Kokenauer right now. He's played the spoiler, and he's still not done with this thing. Dan Campbell's on his back bumper as poor unfortunate situation for Mitzi Chavez. She's dropped back to third, and look at this door knocking. You'd think they were at a salesman convention out there, Steve.
And as we watch Kokenauer hold on to that point position, watch this. Dan Campbell pulls up right behind him. And we talked about it when Mitzi was in the lead. These cars don't have rear view mirrors. You more or less have to have really a feel for what's going on the racetrack. And right now, he better have a feel as Dan Campbell is really applying a lot of pressure. Kokenauer looking to find his way back into victory lane. He's going to need all the talents he's got to hold off the likes of Mr. Campbell.
Well, as they work out of turn 4, the Jim's auto and truck stop machine drag racing down the front straight, and the checker is unfolded for the one they call the Terminator, Chris Kokenauer.
Dan Campbell has to second for second place. Mitzi Chavez manages to hold on for 5th. I think the feature win for Mitzi is not too far in the future.
It's just a night that a lot of people went away disappointed for her, but happy for Chris Kokenauer. We'll be back with some more information, those words of wisdom, right after these messages. Crashes, crashes, and more crashes. Have you ever wondered where you can see all the mishaps